This is Dr. Easterich again, and this is the first video that I'm going to be uploading today for your assignments for this week. And so don't forget to always be looking back on our Moodle page to the syllabus for your assignments for each week. There are links there. There are links to the articles that you're assigned to read, as well as to the videos that you are to watch for every week. So if you're ever saying, hey, I wonder what I'm supposed to be reading, or I wonder what I'm supposed to be viewing and where I can find it, the information is on your syllabus. So always check there first. Now for today, you were supposed to read a very short article by Mark Federman that was going over Marshall McLuhan's famous saying, the medium is the message. And this really is a famous saying. If you've never heard it before, you're going to probably start noticing it now. And Marshall McLuhan was a famous new media theorist. In fact, he's known as the first celebrity academic in the United States. Unfortunately, he died a couple of years ago, but he really shook the academic world and the world of people who are interested in thinking about technology in the 1960s when he came up with this saying, the medium is the message. And you'll notice here that I have up on my screen message and mess age, but also massage and mass age. And the reason why I have those words up there is because when McLuhan sent his manuscript away to the publisher, when the printed book came back to him, they had misprinted on the cover message as massage. And apparently the way the story goes is that McLuhan just laughed and laughed, thought it was hilarious, and did not ask for the cover to be reprinted. And the reason why he did that is because one thing he liked about the word message in the title of his book was that message can be broken down into two words, the mess age. And this is something that, a critique that McLuhan had of the world in the 1960s was that things were messy and that people were a mess and that they needed to get their act together, and he was going to help them to think about it. But also, one thing that he really wanted them to think about was the mass age that they were currently living in the 1960s due to the rise of new technologies, principally television. Was writing about, and radio, things like that, jazz music. So he was able to similarly break down massage into mass age as he was message into mess age. And we really liked the play between those two and got a lot of leverage out of it. So that typo ended up being very beneficial to McLuhan. So while I was talking there, I remembered that I actually have a copy of the book. So I went to my bookshelves that you see behind me and found this copy of the book, so you can see Marshall McLuhan and his co-author Quentin Fiore, who unfortunately did not have a very good publicist. No one remembers him. The medium is the massage, an inventory of effects. And this is a really interesting book. I love going through this book because there's a lot of juxtaposition between text and image in here. And so if you ever want to check out this book, stop by my office. I have it. I don't know if we have a copy in the library, but it's really interesting and visually pleasing. So, okay. So I'll stop showing you the book and start talking about the impact of the message that was in this book that he is so famous for. So the medium is the message. Now, one thing you really have to understand in order to get what Federman is trying to summarize, because McLuhan is very difficult to understand, which is why I assigned you this short article instead of actually reading the book that he wrote, is that technology, according to McLuhan, is any extension of the human body. And I want you to write that down. Okay, so technology is any extension of the human body. And basically what he means by that is anything that is not organically made by our own bodies. So like my eyelashes are not an extension, even though they extend out of my body. My fingernails are not an extension, even though they extend out of my body. But things that are not organic productions of my body, such as my watch, that would be considered technology. This bracelet that I'm wearing, also technology. My glasses that I'm wearing, technology. So really want to emphasize that technology, according to McLuhan, is not limited to computers or smartphones or televisions or things that we typically associate with technology, but basically anything that's synthetic or made by humans, and that extend the capabilities of our bodies to make us more powerful in some sort of way. So what I want to do to sort of drive home this point is to show this picture here of Da Vinci's famous Vitruvian Man. So this is a famous drawing that was produced by Leonardo da Vinci around the year 1492. And as you can see, it depicts a naked male figure. And he's shown in two different positions simultaneously, with his arms out and up, as well as his legs together and slightly ajar. I don't know what you exactly would say. But this is a famous drawing that's supposed to show us the proportions of man. And I wanted to draw your attention to this because this man obviously does not have any extensions on him. This is what we look like without any extensions. He doesn't have any jewelry on. He doesn't have any clothing on. He's not wearing any eyeglasses. This is a naked man with no technology on him. And we're not very accustomed to just seeing each other this way, not only naked, but without any of our extensions, without clothes, without a car, without a book, without a purse, without fingernail polish if he were female. The list goes on and on and on. Without money, without credit cards, without maybe a flower in his hand. So again, I want you to write down something, and this is the importance or the significance of technology to McLuhan, and that is that they change the scale, pace, and pattern of our lives. So, what doesn't count, again, just to kind of go over this again, is our hair, our nails, our skin, our eye color. Even though there's things that differentiate us as humans, these items are produced by our bodies and don't give us any additional powers than we would have otherwise. What does count is things like that. Even though this is my hair, I've put hairspray in it. That is something that is synthetic. I've put on makeup. I'm wearing clothes. I'm talking to you via a computer. This is all technology. The carpet that is underneath my feet right now, that is technology. The chair that I'm sitting on is technology. Let's see here. This thing that I have next to me, this is a paperweight. That is technology. All of these things are technology. This paper that has my notes on it that is helping to remind me of the points I want to make, that is technology. And that point there that I have about paper being technology, I want to draw your attention to this. This drawing of a naked man is actually a great example of technology, because what we have here on this piece of paper, which is technology, is the recordings of the quill pen and ink that Leonardo da Vinci used. And I'm actually going to hit pause here real quick. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with what a quill pen is, this is a quill pen. Excellent. It's, a feather that has been plucked from a bird and then cured and dried. The tip has been sharpened. You do not want this coming at you. And it's been hollowed out so that it can absorb this ink. Okay? And so back in Da Vinci's time, he would have had to, go get a quill pen, track down a bird, and wait for the feather to be cured and dried. Then you would have to get a knife and hollow this out. Then you would have to go get some materials. I bought this, but he would have to go get some materials to produce some ink. And then he would have to find a little jar to store it in. And you'd have to find a desk, because you can't just hold these in your hands. You have to be able to dip and draw and hold on your paper. So you have to find a table somewhere where he would sit and dip his quill into the ink and then draw on the paper. The paper would not have been mass produced and bought at a store. It was probably manufactured from reeds that had been collected locally and then mashed up, formed into a paste, spread as thinly as possible and then left to dry. It would not have been nearly as portable as what we have. It would have been much larger than what we're accustomed to. Probably rolled into a scroll, could not have been bent because it was very fragile and would crack. And so, but nevertheless, if you took the time and effort to do these things, to track down the goose, to get the quill, hollow it out, dry it, get the ink, get the table, get the jar, get this paper from a local purveyor, carry it around in a scroll, he wouldn't be able to slide it into a folder, use a lamp in order to record, have the light to record his ideas. All those motions enabled this technology to be preserved for over 500 years so that we still have access to his thoughts and his ideas on the perfect composition of and proportions of humans to be used in art. So you can see how this technology changes the scale, pace, or pattern of our lives. The scale, and that he's become immortal. His ideas have become immortal. They live on because they were recorded on paper with ink. The pattern, he had to go through a series of events, or his servant had to, in order to get these materials so that he could record his ideas. And then the pace. He would have had to slow down and think about and create several sketches probably of this drawing in order to record it on paper and to have it look really nice. This is actually part of his journal, and you can see that there are notes above and below in writing about his ideas. So we also have access to those. It's pretty cool. So to give you another idea and to come back to this naked man here, think about if you woke up this morning and all of your clothes had disappeared and you didn't have any cloth in your house at all. The scale of your life would have changed because instead of being somebody who could leave your apartment and move around in the world and be a student and come to class or go to work or whatever it is you did today, you would have had to stay home. The pace of your life would have changed a lot because you wouldn't have had to go to work or to go to school, so you'd probably be kind of bored. And you would also not have as many things to rush around and do. And then the pattern of your life would change. You would have to track down people who could do things like bring you food, and come and entertain you in your house, as opposed to going out and leaving your house. So again, just to reiterate this, cannot stress the importance of this enough. Make sure you've written this down, that a technology is any extension that extends our capabilities of the human body. And what's significant about each of these extensions or technology is encapsulated in the medium is the message. Medium for McLuhan is any technology, and the message of that technology is the changes that it makes on the scale, pace, and pattern of our lives. And I've given you a couple good examples of this. You are going to be asked in your homework assignment to look around your apartment or dorm room and give me an example of something that is right in front of you that changes the scale, pace, or pattern of your life. I encourage you not to use the Vitruvian Man or clothing as your example, since I've already gone over those. And also try not to use your smartphone or your computer. Look at something that's unusual, like maybe say a candle, or let's see here, hand sanitizer. Think outside of the box, okay? Good luck, and I'll be posting more videos today.